Real Broker just announced some huge changes that are coming in 2023. If you're an agent with Real Broker or you're considering making a move to the company, there's some things that you're going to have to know about. Unfortunately, some of the fees are going up, but they are adding in additional features where you're going to be able to earn a lead agent easier. And you're also going to have an expanded way to build wealth through the company, through the revenue share program, as well as the stock purchase program. There's some really cool features we're going to talk about here. My name is Cody. I'm the YouTube Realtor. I've used YouTube to grow my real estate business to over $1 million in commissions just from YouTube leads over the last 2.5 years. And I want to share my information with you. That's why I created this channel. And that's why I make these videos. So if you're interested in that type of content, make sure to subscribe to follow along. I release new videos every single week. We're releasing probably 2 to 3 videos every single week here on the channel. And I'd love to have you be a part of it. Also, check out those links in the description below. There's going to be a ton of information that we're covering here on this article or this FAQ here to show you what these changes are. So let's go ahead and jump into my computer here and take a look at this. So first up on our list, it says, okay, what is happening? This is the 2023 U.S. agent fee changes and wealth building opportunities. So as far as I know, this is only going to be changes to U.S. agents. That actually says it right here. That wasn't on the previous version of this that I saw. So to ensure that the resources to ensure we have the resources to support our continued growth and reach our profitability goals that will serve you as the company's shareholders, and in light of the current economic inflationary pressures, we are adjusting our agent fee structures while also adding new benefits designed to enhance your wealth building opportunities. This includes the Willable Revenue Share Program discussed at this previously Fall's One Real event. So again, these are just changes that are going to impact U.S. agents. There are going to be some fees that are going up, but they're also adding some additional features. So there's going to be some of these pros and cons that kind of relate to the overall vision of what they're trying to do here. It's actually going to be a huge benefit for long-term shareholders of the company, right? So for me personally, I own almost $100,000 worth of stock in this company. And, that's going to benefit me in the long term. Assuming the stock price goes up, that will be something that will help me out in the future because they're going to be able to provide more value to the shareholders through increased profitability and better numbers from a corporate standpoint. So that's something to kind of keep in mind there. Although, yes, it does suck to now have to pay additional fees. It is going to be something that actually benefits me still in the long run, and most agents as well, right? If you're really bought into this system, it's going to be, a short-term pain, but you're going to get a huge long-term gain. So what fee structure changes will impact agents? So they are introducing a BEOP, which covers the broker review and E&O insurance, as well as processing that's going to be assessed on every transaction that the company processes. So this is now a $30 fee that goes on to every transaction. In the past, they didn't really have this. They kind of just included it. For revenue share, there's now going to be an annual $175 revenue share program participation fee that will be deducted from the first revenue share payment on the participating agent's anniversary year, and each subsequent revenue share payment will be assessed with a 1.2% processing fee. So as an example, if your revenue share payment was $100, the net payment that you'd receive is $98.80, right? So they're basically just taking 1.2% off the top as a processing fee. So again, that is kind of a bummer, but at the end of the day, it doesn't make a huge difference. If you're getting revenue payments in the $1,000 range, if we take off, let's see, we times this by 988, this is going to give you an actual net payment of $988. So it's only $12 less than you might have gotten, minimal difference here. But the real thing is that, this $175 revenue share program participation fee. Now, obviously, if you're doing a lot of revenue share, right, if you're getting $10,000 payments or $50,000 payments, then that 1%, will add up to a good chunk of change. But, at the end of the day, it's like you kind of have to look at that and just say, hey, it's a cost of doing business. If you're making a $50,000 payment and you're paying out, 1.2%, that's $600 on each payment, but you're still making $50,000, right? So something to kind of keep in mind there. Now, the post cap and elite changes we're going to talk about here. The post-capping transaction fee will be assessed at $285. This is a difference that used to be, they've increased this fee. It used to be $225. While just slightly higher, the increased fee will allow agents to hit the $6,000 post-cap fee amount to reach elite agent status sooner. Once the elite agent status is reached, the transaction fee will be $129 as opposed to $100. So that's going up by $29. But this other fee is actually a $60 increase from where it used to be. But I actually think this is kind of a good thing because if you take the post-capping transaction fees that it takes to get to the elite agent, which is $6,000, right? You have to pay in $6,000 in transaction fees to hit elite after you've capped out. This means that you would have had to do, if we divide that by 225, we have to round this up. So you'd be having to do 27 transactions in order to qualify for elite agent. Now, if we actually change that, 6,000 divided by 285, now you're just over 21 deals. So you're really 22 transactions. So you'd have to do 5 less transactions in order to hit elite. This is great because if you're right in that range where you're doing 25 to 30 transactions in a year, this is going to help ensure that you actually hit elite agent. And it's going to make it much easier. You're going to cap out. Then you're going to be getting that lower transaction fee after hitting elite. Rather than paying the 285, now you're only paying 129. So you still actually pick up benefit there. Even if you close those extra 5 deals, you're still saving, about $100 per transaction on that. So if you did 5 deals past elite, you would then be capturing, roughly $500, which is the difference of the old transaction fee, 225, minus this new 129. So anyway, jumping into the details there, I know that gets pretty specific, maybe a little bit hard to follow, but the important thing to note is that now, rather than having to do 27 transactions post-capping, you only have to do 22 transactions to hit elite, which is actually pretty cool. I think that's one of the most significant changes that we're seeing here. There's also going to be an annual brokerage fee that has an adjustment here. The annual brokerage fee will increase to $750. This fee will be deducted from each agent's first 3 transactions in equal installments of $250. So this used to be $500 split up between the first 2 transactions. So this is actually going up a pretty substantial amount, an extra $250 per year. But this is going to add a lot of profitability to the company because if you really think about it, if you have right now we're sitting at just over 8,000 agents, an extra $250 a year is $2 million, right? So that adds a ton of benefit to the company, an extra $2 million in income for the company. Joining fee. The new agent joining fee will increase to $249. I can't remember what this was. I want to say it was $150 before. So this has gone up slightly. This will only impact agents who join Real after January 31st. So if you're on the fence about joining Real, you might want to do it before the end of the month. Now, there's actually also some really cool opportunities coming up here. If you are thinking about joining Real, this will impact you as well. But we'll talk about that here in a second. If you want to join Real or you just want to talk to me about the pros and cons of the company, I'd love to chat with you and have a conversation to see if it's the right fit for you. You can find my information in the description box below. You can go ahead and schedule a call with me. I'd love to, tell you my experience. I've been with the company now for 2 years, and it's been a phenomenal experience, right? It's perfect for me. It's exactly what I've been looking for. It's not going to be a fit for everybody, but, I'd love to have that conversation and see if it is a fit for you personally. So what new wealth building opportunities will agents benefit from? In 2023, they're going to introduce willable revenue share. This basically means that in the unfortunate event that you passed on, you would be able to will your revenue share that you're earning to a spouse, to a child, to mom and dad, to a brother, whoever it could be. I don't think there's going to be any restrictions on this. It doesn't specifically say. It just says you can designate a beneficiary to receive your revenue share. And it's important to note that the beneficiary will not be required to get licensed in order to earn the revenue share. So that's actually a pretty cool feature here. Let's go and zoom this in. Next up, we also have fractional revenue share. Now, this is actually really, really cool. I think this is going to be a huge game changer in being able to go out there and collaborate among agents, right? I've had this problem. I've brought in a lot of people to Real Broker, but I've also talked to a lot of people who said, hey, I also talked to so-and-so over here, and, they were very helpful in helping me make my decision to join Real. And so that person is kind of forced to make a decision on who they want to have be their sponsor when they join the company. However, they're now going to offer this, and they'll be introducing the ability for 2 agents to co-sponsor an agent, allowing both to benefit from revenue share. So this is actually pretty cool to be able to see this change here. You can now have 2 agents to co-sponsor. This is great for partnerships. This is great for scenarios where you say, hey, perhaps me and somebody else wants to collaborate. We can both benefit from that, even if we're not in each other's downlines, or even if we're, both, I don't want to say competing, but if we're both talking to the same person and, saying, hey, you should come join us over here at Real, now both agents can actually benefit from that, which is really, really cool. You're going to get a smaller piece of the pie, but hey, smaller piece is better than nothing at all. There's also the opportunity for joint venture profit sharing. So the profit sharing program is an opportunity for all agents located within Real Title's operating markets, which is currently Florida, Texas, and Utah, and California, which is coming soon, to benefit from the additional revenue opportunities that come from the ability to offer customers ancillary services. So this basically says, hey, if you refer people to Real Title and they close with that company, you're going to be able to get a little bit of that profit share on whatever comes from that referral there, right? So you're just picking up another way to make a little bit of money on the side. This is great because it actually helps grow Real Title much quicker than it might have, right? Because now there's an incentive for agents to send business over there. I'm actually having a call in a couple days here with the Real Title team to see if this makes sense for me personally. I'm really tied into my escrow officer that I work with, so it'll have to be a pretty big change for me to make this adjustment and start sending business to Real Title, but it might be something that is worth considering, right? The cost to participate in this starts at just $100. I don't think this is going to be a massive, revenue builder or revenue generator unless you're doing just a ton of business. But I think there's going to be some opportunity to make at least maybe a couple $1,000. I don't know. We're going to find out about it. I'm just projecting right now. But maybe, a couple $1,000 per year, which is just a nice little bonus. For doing what you're already doing, basically. You're also going to have expanded access to Real Stock Purchase Program. Our culture and sense of community is fueled by common purpose and alignment, which is why we are expanding the ability to buy shares of Real stock beyond the company-issued equity awards. The caps will still apply, yet you can buy additional shares within the current system. So they're basically just kind of streamlining this process. Of course, you could still already purchase Real stock on other brokerages out there, but now they're giving you the ability to purchase it within the current system, at market rates. So that's pretty cool there. What additional benefits is Real going to be providing in 2023? Effective early Q2, agents will have access at no cost to version 1 of Real Signature, the company's proprietary alternative to DocuSign. This is actually a pretty cool feature. I hope that it comes out. I hope it doesn't have a ton of issues. Right now, I'm using SkySlope. That's what the company was using prior, for the past couple months. They actually just recently shut that down, but I've got access to it through the MLS, so that's what we're still using in my personal business. So I don't know that we'll make the change to this, but it might be worth something exploring, going into the future. If it's a better version, if it's easier to use and it's more integrated, then yeah, we'll definitely go and switch over to that, which will be pretty cool. They're also continuing work on a new consumer app, which is going to help buyers connect with mortgage providers for their lending needs. This product will be launched by the end of June, so they're basically going to provide another lending opportunity. And they're also in the process of exploring a rewards program that would leverage the collective strength of the Real organization to extend all agents group health insurance benefits and discounts on services that all can benefit, such as cell phone plans, co-working spaces, etc., which is another great little feature. I don't personally take advantage of anything like that. One, primarily because it doesn't exist, but two, just because I like to kind of do my own thing and I already have it set up and I don't want to change it. But there's going to be a lot of people who actually do take advantage of this. So this is pretty cool. So the question you're probably asking is, hey, when will these changes go into effect? These changes go into effect April 1st for current Real agents, and new agents in the U.S. will see these changes beginning February 1st. So if you're a new agent, you might want to join before January so that you can get at least a couple extra months of these lower fees. But if you're already with Real, then you're going to see these changes go into effect on April 1st. The benefits will go into effect over the first part of 2023. So this is the agent benefit initiatives. They're going to roll out as they become available. Hopefully this is, sooner than later. That'll be cool. But it could take, potentially up to 6 months is what they're saying here. This is going to impact the new agents in the United States. We'll see these changes go into effect February 1st, and they'll be subject to the new joining fee of $249, which we had talked about. The commission structure is not changing. So the commission and the cap are not changing. Real's commission structure will remain one of the industry's most competitive at 85.15. This is actually a huge plus. I think a lot of people underestimate how impactful this is, because if you're an agent and you're closing just your first couple deals, it really sucks to pay off 20, 25, 30% of that commission to your company, right? You want to try and keep as much of that as possible up front. And I really like what this, the structure that Real has here. Will Real be making additional changes to the fee structure later this year? At more than 8,000 agents strong, they're able to model growth more accurately. And with these changes, we do not foresee a need to make additional changes in the foreseeable future. So that's pretty cool. They're saying, hey, we think this is going to stay where it's at. For the time being. Now, it's also worth noting that these changes were developed by the Real leadership, of course, the corporate leadership, but then it was also reviewed at length by agent advisors. There's actually an agent community within Real that kind of acts as like advisors, or like a board of directors almost, if you will, to the company, to the leadership. And they basically are kind of, I guess maybe it's more like a union in a sense, right? They're kind of like the advisors to the company saying, hey, here's what we as the agents want to see happen in the company. And they kind of approve, or, will give approval on different things or disapprove, right? They might say, hey, we don't think you should do that, or we don't think you should, you should do this or shouldn't do that. But at the end of the day, real leadership, of course, has the final say. So that's something worth noting. But they have done this to ensure that every move that the company made was in the best interest of our community as a whole. And lastly, why is Real making these changes? As we head into 2023, the tone of the housing market is different from what it was last year at this time. And in this changing market, our goal is to provide you with new opportunities to build wealth while continuing to position Real for the long term. So this is something that's really important to see with Real. I think it's actually some really good changes here. Yeah, it's going to suck because you're going to end up paying some additional fees. I know that for myself, I'm probably going to, I'm going to pay an extra $30 here. There's also going to be the 175. I mean, I don't know. I did about 40 transactions in 2022. So if we add this up, that's an extra 1,200, another 175 right there, plus the 1.2% processing fee, which for me will probably come out, I don't know, as of right now, a couple $100 at least. And then, post cap and elite, the post capping transaction fee will be assessed at a higher amount, but that's going to help me hit elite easier. So I'm not too worried about that. I think that'll actually kind of be a wash. I think you'll see that once you hit elite, your transaction fee will drop, and that will kind of offset the difference in the increased fee there because you're going to hit that number sooner. And then there's also the $250 annual brokerage fee increase. So that's going up to $750. So this is going to cost, an additional $1,600 to $1,800, maybe $2,000 per year. But I think the long-term growth opportunities, making these changes like we talked about earlier, bumping up that transaction fee the annual brokerage fee to $750 rather than $500 is actually a huge change. That could be worth $2 million, maybe even $3 million to the company over the next 12 to 24 months. So, these changes are kind of necessary. It's going to help us continue to grow, continue to give back to the agents, and continue to add shareholder value. So with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to share this video with another Real agent if you're in the company. I'm sure that they're probably going to be wondering what this is all about, so they might find some value from this. And also, if you're thinking about joining us, make sure to check out those links in the description box below. You can schedule a call with me. I'd love to chat with you. And with that said, we'll catch you in the next one.